A person who can be a threat to officers was not Sonya. You assumed that she was going to throw the water, and it was y'all fault that y'all even let her go over there. Why would y'all even let her go over to the stove? One of y'all could have turned it off. And her last words were, "I'm sorry." What's going on, everybody? It's your girl B Octavia. Hold on. It's your girl B Octavia, and I am back with another video. In today's video, we will be talking about Miss Sonya Massey, a 36-year-old black woman who was recently gunned down by police in her home. The focal point will be Sonya Massey, but I do want to make a statement towards mental health. Advice for my people, but also advice for police who obviously are not trained to deal with people who have and suffer from mental illnesses. What is very hypocritical about that is the fact that a lot of those men that are in these departments, and we call them deputy and this, that, and the fourth, a lot of them came from the war. A lot of them suffer with PTSD, but this is not nothing that y'all deal with. So, if you do not know who I am, my name is B Octavia. This here is my channel. In the last few days, there has been a upflux of more than 200 new subscribers, so I want to say thank you to y'all. And for those who don't know me yet, I am a 27-year-old woman from Washington, D.C. I am a mother, an entrepreneur, and we finna get into this shit. In the middle of the night, Sonya Massey called police to report a prowler lurking outside and around her house. Once police arrived and looked around the perimeter of her home, they went to her to let her know that they didn't find anything suspicious. After telling her that, one deputy asked, "Are you doing all right mentally?" She replied, "Yes, I took my medicine." She welcomed them into her home, and she sat down on the couch. The police asked her a few questions as she sat on the couch, and through body cam, as well as the police officers that were there, could tell that she was having some difficulty answering the questions. It is important to note that Sonya Massey was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and even though her mental state was in question, court documents state that those officers observed her being calm, possibly unwell, but non-aggressive, showing no indication of wanting to hurt herself or others. In my opinion, if she showed any sign of aggression because she thought it was somebody outside, a person in a different mindset would grab something and go out there and handle business. And whether they are chasing a ghost, something that they thought was there that's not really there, a person who can be a threat to officers was not Sonya. She called the police for help, and whether or not the prowler was a figment of her imagination or attributed to her schizophrenia, how did this go from being concerned about her mental state because of the call that she made turn into an interrogation? What happened to folks? And hold on, I understand that the cops was there, but especially after y'all looked around and y'all came and told her that it was nobody there, why didn't y'all have an ambulance there then? So that because the ambulance are a lot better at talking to people with mental illnesses. They are, even the firefighters are a lot better than the actual police officers at doing this. So it didn't have to turn into an interrogation. It didn't have to turn into what happened. But back to the tragic events that unfolded. So as the officers talked to Sonya, it was still one officer outside circling her house. I guess a form of easing her mind, but the actions that took place, at the hands of them after that is just very, very heartless. The conversation went from asking questions back to back, even though they knew that she was having some sort of difficulty answering. Some people who are schizophrenic, they can hear other voices in their mind, and they're trying to either respond to the person in their mind. Trust me. So that could have possibly been why she was having such a difficulty. I've seen people with schizophrenia, you could tell on their face after somebody asks them something that they are having a battle within their mind, and they themselves, they want to answer the question, but those voices in their head are telling them all these different ways to answer, except the right way. So they went from asking her rapid fire questions about her mental health or about this and that to asking Sonya for her ID. And again, if it is apparent that she's having a hard time answering these things, how do you even think that she's gonna look for and find her ID right now? She thought it was somebody outside. And the reality of mental health is this: she could have been taking her medicine correctly, and sometimes it's the wrong dosage, and that's on the therapists and the doctors. They be doing a lot of trial and error when it comes to what you should be prescribed for mental health. They like, oh, that didn't work. Oh, you got a little suicidal off of that one. All right, so let me put you on this one. And let me up the dosage, when sometimes it's not conducive. And right here, that could be a possibility. And the whole ID thing, that was her house. It's not hard to look that up or it pop up. You feel what I'm saying? Any type of record or history that house has had with police, with ambulances, anything, is easy to find. So the fact that they was just asking her for her ID, it's like, for what? Like, I wouldn't tell nobody to not ID themselves, but I'm saying, in this particular scenario, what is our ID gonna do right now? And she is possibly having a episode. Officer Grayson, he has a very extensive history. He was, what you call that when you was kicked out the army? Yeah, he was kicked out of the army after 1 year. And then he went on to this police agency and that police agency and that police department and this police department. Officer Grayson has moved around quite a bit, and it's because, how do you say, is it insubordinate? Is that the word? Who gets kicked out of the army if it's not no injury? That's how you know he crazy. He really shouldn't even got no job. He shouldn't have been allowed to get no job. You feel me? He shouldn't have been allowed to get no job at no police agencies after being kicked out of the army. That's embarrassing. They didn't really give her time to either look for an ID or get an ID. It switched from that to all of the officers noticing the boiling pot of water on the stove. So Sonya gets up, and as she's getting up, a deputy says, yeah, we don't need no fires in here. Like, he was okay. He was okay with her walking over there to the stove, was he not? He was. He was quite okay. All of them were quite okay with her walking over there. None of them panicked. When she turned it off, none of them panicked. It was only when she picked it up It was only then, when she picked it up, that they thought of what she could possibly do. And mind you, she was still in the kitchen. She was still in the kitchen when Officer Grayson was standing quite a distance away. And it's not to say that she couldn't have still threw it if that was what they thought that she was going to do. It was still a good enough distance to throw. I'll give them that, but she gave no inkling that she was going to throw that water. No inkling at all. And my mom had said something like, oh, what if she wanted to like use it as holy water? I didn't think that they do that. I didn't think that they actually boil it and want to. That's not what they said in church or anything. Even with the vampires. You just got to take the vial of the water, and that's the rebuking. That's what that is. You feel me? So she's still standing in the kitchen, and she asked them, where y'all going? Because they stepped back as she was holding the water. And one of them said, away from that hot steaming water you have. And then Sonya says, twice back to back, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Officer Grayson only replies then with, you better not, I swear to God, I will shoot you in the face. And that's exactly what he did. That pot of water wasn't raised at all. It wasn't raised back like she was going to throw it forward. She gave no inkling that she was going to throw that. And as he draws his weapon, Sonya Massey gets down below the counter, and her last words were, I'm sorry. She was shot 3 times, one being a fatal wound to her head. Grayson's partner immediately suggested that they get their medical kit. Officer Grayson replies, she's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot. Immediately after the shooting, Grayson starts to explain himself to responding officers that came after the shots were fired. He claimed she had boiling water and came at me. As he was moved out of Sonya Massey's house, he can be heard on body cam footage saying, that bitch is crazy, referring to Sonya Massey. The last and most damaging part to Sonya Massey's shooting death is how long it actually took for ambulance to take Sonya Massey to the hospital. After suggesting getting the medical kit, Grayson's partner got a towel and leaned down towards Sonya Massey and applied pressure, and he stated, she's still gasping a little bit. 26 minutes after the shooting, Sonya Massey was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced deceased. There was no sense of urgency. And matter of fact, that's not even the last most damaging part. The last most damaging part is the lies that they told her son. They would not admit that this was a police involved shooting. They wouldn't do it. They couldn't do it. They had enough courage to shoot her, but they don't have enough courage to face her son and face her loved ones and say what really happened. No sense of urgency on providing aid other than Grayson's partner putting the towel on her head, but it's unclear how long he did that because nobody else around was concerned about getting her any help. As far as all of them were concerned, as soon as she was shot in the head, she was already dead, no matter if she was gasping or not. And that is terrible. If a police officer ended up shot like that, they would have did everything possible. They would have airlifted this man. They would have airlifted the cops to get the help that they needed. And let's just ponder on the what ifs. What if Sonya Massey was going to throw the water? Why use deadly force? Because even if you thought that and that's what you assumed as the officer right in front of her, y'all got rubber bullets, y'all got a taser, y'all supposed to have some type of pepper spray, something. Why use deadly force? And it's just water. And I understand it can boil and make your skin fall off. But she just did not give any indication that she was going to throw that. They did not have to shoot that lady. They did not have to shoot her. It was so many different things they could have done. And my thing is, if ambulance, firefighters, people like that is there, I guarantee you that wouldn't have happened. Like, they should have immediately, with getting that call as well as a call from her mom the day before this happened saying don't hurt her but that she needs help, I would have immediately had the ambulance and the firefighters there to talk her down. Because obviously, I mean, these were, not only was these the wrong police, but police in general. And you could ask the damn judge and all that. Assumption does not mean fact. You assumed that she was going to throw the water. And it was y'all fault that y'all even let her go over there. Why would y'all even let her go over to the stove? One of y'all could have turned it off. Problem avoided right there. It was on y'all. Y'all did everything wrong. How in the world are you going to be okay with somebody going on over there, and then as they're over there picking up the pot, you have a eureka moment of some shit that could happen? I rebuke you in the name of Jesus isn't something that we say in our culture to incite violence. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus is not something that is a threat. So, that's what I had to say on it. Rest in peace to Sonya Massey. I am praying for her children and her family. Everybody that has truly been affected by this. And hopefully it doesn't happen again. And we can't even say that it won't. Because we got people like Trump running for office that want to give all police immunity. So, y'all make the right decision when it comes time to vote. I can't tell you who to vote for. I learned that in elementary school. So, yeah. Please leave your feedback in the comments below. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.